Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back with another video. I thought I'd go live today to do a brief recap of Arsenal injury updates so far after the international break. We still have Hincapié yet to return back to London ahead of training for the North London Derby. And we received news of Gabriel Magalhaes' injury, the extent to which he is injured, and the grade of injury, grade 1 injury to be exact, and that he will be out tentatively for estimated 1 to 2 months, which is not the worst case scenario, but it's also not the greatest, especially considering the fact that we have Tottenham at home, Bayern Munich at home in the Champions League, our next match in the Champions League, and then we have Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. With that being said, we are going to first talk about the injury updates for some of the players that have returned to training, as well as Gabriel Jesus returning to on pitch training now. I think his official return to being part of the squad is not until the new year or after the new year, where our fixtures tend to get easier. This month is one of the toughest months for Arsenal in terms of the fixture pileup, and then the holiday, like that time period with the Everton fixture that got moved, kind of helps us. But now, this month is what we need to focus on. It is a real test for the Arsenal on how well we will do moving forward each game with the squad that we have, and we're still having some key players out. It's concerning, but I do think that the squad Arsenal has is capable of getting it over the line and get the 3 points at home first against Tottenham, build up the confidence for that game against Bayern Munich. I would take a draw right now against Bayern Munich. This Bayern Munich team has yet to draw or lose a game. And when we played them 2 seasons ago, we had drawn at home and got absolutely spanked away from home in a poor performance. Um, in a poor performance at the Allianz Arena, both of those games in which I attended to. I'm quite nervous going into this game, more so with further injuries. My concern is I really hope that we have no further injuries in the squad, with Hincapié most likely to play this game against Tottenham. But the some people are saying Mosquera would play. Um, I don't think so. And Tottenham as well, they have a lot of injuries that haven't even made it from last season. Kulusevski, for instance. So my predicted 11 for the game against Tottenham would be Raya in goal, Calafiori, Hincapié, Saliba, Timber, Rice, Zubamendi, and Eze, Trossard, Marino, and Saka. Now, I know there were news that Jesus was back in training, but I think it's way too early to play Jesus. And I do think that they will stick to Marino up front as the default, with Gyökeres not being available yet for the North London Derby. So Raya, Timber, Saliba, Hincapié, Calafiori, Rice, Zubi, Eze in the midfield three, Saka on the right, Marino down the middle, and then Trossard on the left. That's pretty much my predicted 11 for the North London Derby. Hi, Anthony. Thanks so much for joining. I know a lot of people aren't here, and no one expected me to go live as usual. I don't really tell people when I go live, but I appreciate you guys who are tuned in. More so this Tottenham game. Hi, Eddie. How you doing? I have to catch up with you. It's been a long time. Hi, Cole. Good to see you here on a Wednesday night. I'll see you tomorrow in Dan's chat room. The Tottenham injury concerns, they have Kulusevski still out, Basuma still out. Several players for Tottenham are out injured, so I think Arsenal can take advantage of that. And as well, we're playing them at home, so I'm quite confident when we are facing Tottenham at home. For me, I'm going to go with a confident scoreline of 3-0. James Madison's out for the season, as we know, with a knee injury. Kulusevski, Solanke has a foot injury, and like no return date. Ben Davis is out. Dragason's out. I just mentioned Bissouma earlier. Archie Gray's injured. I think Kudos is going to be available for this game. And then Romero, he's being assessed. Papa Sarr was injured. I'm not sure if he's going to play. I think he'll be fine. It just seems like it was a knock in the last game. But hi, Mr. Tom. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're looking forward to Survivor Series. Thanks so much for joining, Mr. Tom. The best wrestling channel on YouTube, Mr. Tom's Talks Wrestling. Just happened to be binging true crime in bed and saw you were live. True crime is my favorite type of genre for TV shows. And I like true crime documentaries a lot on Netflix. That's a whole different can of worms. Some of them are really interesting, but I know some people say it's always the same storyline. But hi, Jose, how you doing? I just thought I'd go live to talk about the injuries that have happened over the international duty. As we know, Calafiore returned early on from the Azzurri squad back to the Emirates. Calafiore, they didn't play him the first game that Italy had to qualify for, but it seemed like the reason Gattuso said was due to squad overload, and that Calafiore will be available to play for the North London Derby, so he is no longer flagged or injured. And that's all good and well. Italy are now in the playoffs. Jamaica as well failed to qualify yesterday with Curacao. Curacao being the first small nation country to make it to the World Cup. So big up to Curacao. Shame the game against Jamaica yesterday. Jamaica missed the penalty. Then they had the goal ruled out. They called for a penalty, didn't get it, and then the ultimately what costed Jamaica, I guess, the red card, and didn't really take their chances. Andre Blake and they were missing Wissa as well, with him being out injured. A lot of people have forgotten about Wissa. That he's still in the league. Big up, Mobos. How are you? I saw you the other day in Rasta Stocks, but by the time I had joined the chat, he was just finishing the stream, so I wasn't able to say hi to you. But big up, Mobos. Thanks for the support lately. I really appreciate it. I love stuff like EWU, Midwest Safety, Red Tree Stories on YouTube. I don't know any of those. I usually watch on Netflix or some shows on HBO. HBO has really good stuff. And even Crave TV. Crave's a Canadian thing, but they have some good programs too. Not so much crime related though. Now going into this game, I guess pretty much our lineup picks itself. Now the other two news I want to bring up is Julian Nagelsmann had made a report on Kai Havertz having an injury setback. And that he will not likely be returning to the Arsenal, at least even in training, until next month. And I think realistically, we're not going to see Kai Havertz back in the squad until January, according to Julian Nagelsmann. And this is from Fabrizio Romano, so I'm just going to share my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. One moment, please. Hopefully you can see it there. So Julian Nagelsmann states Kai Havertz has had a minor relapse on his injury, but overall he's doing well. He's expected to return towards the end of the year. Realistically, my thoughts going into, bringing Kai Havertz, integrating him back into this team. First of all, Gyökeres, I do think he will play the game on Sunday. I don't think he is doubt, even though some people are still saying that he might not be ready to play yet. I think Gyökeres will be in the squad but won't start the game. That's just my viewpoint on this, and that we would start the game with Marino up front, allowing Gyökeres to come off the bench if we needed him. There is the indication of Madueke and Martinelli. We were told that Martinelli and Madueke would be available after the international break, which should be for the Tottenham game. I think Madueke will be available on the bench. I'm hoping that's the case. It is understood that all six players, Kai Havertz, Gyökeres, Odegaard, Jesus, Martinelli, and Noni Madueke, according to Aysen Khan from the Daily Mail, he states that these players will not be available until early December. Now, that's quite concerning because we're short on attackers in that department. And with the fixtures that Arsenal have coming up, early December would be after the Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge. Arsenal's fixtures tend to get easier by then. Mind you, Brentford are a team that's now in form with Thiago doing really well for Brentford. Guys, Thiago is really cheap in FPL. I know this is an FPL stream, but what's a stream without me talking about fantasy and who you guys can bring into your team? Thiago is quite cheap in fantasy. So if you are thinking to offload Gyökeres because Arsenal have tough fixtures, I would consider going for someone like Joao Pedro, someone like Thiago, who's quite good to give you guys the best points available. Juan Tali, how are you doing, my friend? Always happy to see you here. Hope you're happy about your team. And Five Rounds Podcast, my favorite on YouTube every Fridays. I like the edits you've been posting recently, Wantali. Good to see you. Um, and I'll tune in hopefully Friday if you're live. That'll be awesome. Thanks for all the love and support, everybody. Um, so that's quite concerning. Arsenal's fixtures do get better going into December. But then again, Aston Villa has been our bogey team. Last season, we drew with Aston Villa. This season, Arsenal's trying to pick up the points that we dropped in games in which we drew last season. With regards to the Champions League fixture, Arsenal's next Champions League game is against Bayern Munich at home, which is going to be a really tough test for this team. Bayern Munich have yet to lose a game this season, and they are looking stronger than ever possible. Harry Kane's breaking all the records he can in the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich top of the table in the Bundesliga, long clear of RB Leipzig as things stand in the Bundesliga. But I think that's going to be a game where Arsenal will show that we're not afraid to go toe to toe with that Bayern team. That Bayern team is stacked, but hopefully, we do have some of these players ahead of schedule. I would really hope we would have Madueke back for that Bayern game, or even someone like Martinelli. We need that attacking threats available on the bench. Hi, Gary. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I liked your show on Monday. That was nice to see Taron on there from BBK Sports. Big up to Taron. He does some really good Arsenal shows and NBA, which I quite like. Speaking of the NBA, the Raptors are on a huge winning streak at the moment. And all of a sudden, nobody's talking about my boy Brandon Ingram once he's starting to put in performances. The Raptors are 9-5 right now, and they're playing the Philadelphia tonight. The game's currently on in the background, but all of a sudden, all those haters that made fun of Notorious B.I., where are you at now? Raptors are 9-5, currently on a high so far this season, and I think we could be a 16th team. I do think we'll make the play-in, so let's see how this team does. But back to the football. I'm looking forward to this game against Tottenham on the weekend. I am going to be doing a watch-along. I believe Bargav is joining me and Jordan, depending on the time, if he's available. Which I'm doing a watch-along on my channel after a long time. I'm quite looking forward to it. Of course, it's a North London derby. People say form goes out the window. But for me, this is the best time to play Tottenham. I mean, people are saying Thomas Frank will prepare for this game and he won't necessarily allow Tottenham to be as open defensively like a can of worms. And Thomas Frank will be hoping to get one over Tottenham's biggest rivals, which is us. But the overall, the record of Thomas Frank at the Emirates every time he's played us, he's only won just one of his nine meetings against Arsenal. So, and plus we're playing at home, so I'm quite confident and do favor us. I think what Tottenham's lineup will be for the opposition: Vicario in goal, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogi, and then Polinia, Bentancur, Xavi Simmons, who's been stinking it up this season. This is the player I'm worried about when you think of Tottenham's team is Mohamed Kudus. Mohamed Kudus, I know he missed out against Copenhagen and Man United in Spurs' last two games, but I do think he'll be fully fit. He did not go on international duty, from my understanding. So I think he'll be fully up for this game against Arsenal. And then Richarlison and Odobert. That's the opposition 11 that I'm going with, that I think Tottenham would do. With regards to Arsenal starting 11, I did go over that earlier. Let me know in the chat below what you guys think Arsenal's starting 11 would be. Pretty much for me, it's going to be Marino up front. I don't think Jesus is going to be ready yet. We only saw Jesus doing light training on the pitch, just like we saw pictures this week. So for me, it's Raya, Calafiori, Mosquera, Saliba, Timber, Rice, Zubi, Eze, Trossard, Marino, Saka. That 11 picks itself with regards to what's available. The other concern for me is now the bench. Let's say for whatever reason we're losing this game 1-0 down at home in the half. Our bench is quite thin and concerning because of the amount of attacking injuries we have. And, the midfielders, Odegaard not being available is a huge lack of creativity in this team from the midfield. Gyökeres not being available, not being able to, Gyökeres, when he was just getting into form, this guy gets injured, is so typical of the Arsenal. Same thing happened with Madueke. This guy was just starting to gel into the Arsenal team and suddenly gets injured. Sorry, 1 second. People decide to call while I'm live. Big up, Cooler. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Is Martinelli back? From my understanding, Jose, I'm going to say no. From what the Daily Mail reported, that Martinelli and Madueke will not be back until early December, is what we're being told. And that's the same goes with Gyökeres, Gabriel Jesus, and Havertz. Realistically, for me, though, I think we're not going to see Havertz touch pitch until January in terms of being involved in the squad. Because it was a major injury, I think they're going to ease him back into the team. We did see him, we did hear that he had an injury setback as well, according to Julian Nagelsmann, that he's had a minor injury setback. And I think we won't see any Kai Havertz action until the new year, which is great because in a way that's a good thing because we can have a more complete squad towards the end when depending on where we are in the title right now. As you know, the league table is so close as it stands, so that's like the business end of the season. If we would have most of our attackers back, that would really help us. Could we see the academy kid get more minutes? Anus, I don't think this is a game for Anus. I do think he'll be on the bench. Andre Harriman Anus, the 17-year-old striker from the academy. Of course, I do think he'll make the Arsenal bench, if anything, but I don't think this is a game where you want to have an academy player starting. This is a big opportunity, though, in with Gabriel being out injured and being the rock of this team. This is now the time to shine for someone like Hincapié, who wants to prove himself and fight for his place at the Arsenal. For his country, Ecuador, I saw Hincapié have a game of his life. And it's not just like during the international break recently. For his country, he's been consistently good. I want to see what Hincapié can offer in the Premier League, and this is the best opportunity for him to do so. Now, some people are also saying that it's a possibility Arteta could play Saliba at left center back. I just don't think that's going to happen. Some people are questioning Hincapié, but the same people that questioned Hincapié last year were the same people who said Kivior cannot do it against Real Madrid. And look what we did to Real Madrid, home and away from home, when Gabriel got injured. Now, it is a huge blow for us, But I think some people are blowing this out of proportion, saying Arsenal's title hopes are over because Gabriel has gotten injured. I'm even hearing people blame Mikel Arteta for players going on international duty to represent their country. For players like Gabriel, who you can see wear their heart on their sleeve, their country matters for them just as much as club football matters for them. And I think there's a lot of people that would, their dream is to play for their country. So for some people to say, oh, it's Arteta's fault, he should have held them back and not allowed them to go for this useless friendly. I understand that this was a useless friendly, but for them, for the players, it's like any opportunity to represent their country, and they want to be there. They want to represent their country. They want to be there for their fans, their families. And this is so unfortunate that this was a meaningless friendly. And we knew it's so typical of Arsenal, meaningless friendlies. Our players are bound to get injured. And boom, we lose Gabriel when he was one of the players in player of the season talks as things stand. I would even put Calafiori in there. For me, he is my player of the season so far. Of course, it is still too early. We're not just yet halfway into the season, but a lot of people are finding any way to blame Mikel Arteta on allowing players to go on international duty. I think that is a bit far-fetched. Now, someone like Odegaard that went with the Norway squad, for me, that's more like leadership and trying to help the team, like when Thomas Muller went with the Bayern Munich squad against Arsenal 2 seasons ago when he was injured and he broke his leg. It's for motivation of the team, for leadership, and I can understand that part. These meaningless friendlies, when the country's already qualified, such as Saka and Rice going for England, a lot of people criticize it, and I completely understand their criticisms because England had already qualified. They were the first country to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. But what can we do? So there's only so much we can do about it. Hi, Ian. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. It's the player's ego, 100%. But for me, it's a bit far-fetched and ridiculous that some people find a way to blame Mikel Arteta for anything and everything. And in my opinion, these type of things are not really in his control. I do think it's the player that makes the ultimate decision whether they want to go on these friendlies or not after they're selected in the squad, if they make it to the squad. Yeah, and it was at the Emirates. Brazil, when they come here, they play at the Emirates. They train at the Emirates. Arsenal tend to offer them the stadium to train. And that was, in a way, a blessing in disguise because they could easily diagnose him and give him any necessary assessments that he needed to figure out what grade injury he had with his adductor. It is a grade 1 injury, but we were told he will be out for 1 to 2 months, which is a huge blow for this Arsenal team. We were also told that, it's a huge loss for Arsenal, but the squad that we have now is completely different to last season. We have the squad depth that we were once crying out loud for. And I know we still have a lot of attacking players out injured. We hope to see those players return back in the new year. With that being said, going into this game, my score prediction would be a 3-0 Arsenal win. I do think this is going to be an easy game for the Arsenal. And Tottenham are quite struggling. I do think that Tottenham are struggling, and Arsenal, as you know, are quite good at set pieces. Defensively, Tottenham are not strong as Arsenal's defense. With Gabriel, even without Gabriel, I think, Saliba is there to help Hincapié and Calafiori. For me, Calafiori so far this season has been the most consistent player defensively. And alongside Gabriel, for me, Calafiori is one of the players that I would say player of the season so far. And I do think that would help someone like Hincapié, who is less experienced in the defensive role. I think the bigger worry is, again, overplaying the set of players over the next set of fixtures. Hi, Arun. Thanks for joining. He says, we have the squad to manage, but the impact is not going to be the same with Hincapié or Mosquera at left center back. Some people suggested playing Saliba at left center back, but I don't think Arteta would do that. I think he would go with the default, which is the lineup that I provided earlier. Jose says, I think this will be a tough match. I'm quite confident going into this game. It is a North London derby, so yes, maybe some people are feeling the nerves going into this game, but I do think that this Arsenal team has what shown the mentality to dig out, especially against the game against Sunderland, the Black Cats. We dug out from a losing position, and I know Arsenal have that resilience to do so. We have 6 or 7 players out, and when we are chasing the league, we need to manage everyone's minutes properly, 100%. And that's the reason, early on in the season with Lewis Skelly and Ethan Waneri, we're seeing the academy kids' minutes being managed more significantly compared to last season. I'm worried we won't be able to do that as effectively unless these players that are out return soon. We were told by the Daily Mail that they would most likely be back by the end of November, early December. And my understanding, it's early December. Tottenham tend to do well away from home, but it's the Emirates. Tottenham don't have a good record in North London derbies at the Emirates. At least in recent times, we tend to beat them. I'm confident going into this game. It is always amazing to beat our biggest rivals in Tottenham. Always nice to see expressions and the Tottenham fans reacting to a defeat at the Emirates. It's just icing on the cake. I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday. I do think that Arsenal have what it takes to win over Tottenham and hopefully no further injuries. Going into this game, I wouldn't say this is a game where you're going to see the midfield battle. I do think defensively, a lot of people are concerned because of the defensive change that we are going to have underway. I do think we are going to exploit Tottenham's high line defensively with the pace of their wingers that they have, and ultimately dominate possession in the midfield. Marino, just please do the job. It sucks. Gyökeres was just getting into form, and this is like such a shame. He was just getting into form and figuring out the team, how we work and our style of play, and then he goes down injured. What timing? And it's so typical of Arsenal. You can't make this shit up, is what I'm trying to say. Ian says, story during the rounds that Saka agreed extending contract to 2030. I did hear about that. And Saliba also extended his contract, which is great news. And Lewis Skelly already signed a new contract. There were stupid rumors about Lewis Skelly and England team with Tuchel talking about him, not getting picked because he hasn't been getting a lot of minutes. But on Arsenal side of things, we're trying to manage their minutes well and make sure that we're not overplaying these young players, especially people like Max Dowman. At 15 years old, you don't want to overplay and end up in a Jack Wilshere situation. Or you know what I mean, when you overplay these young players, that ultimately that's what happens, and it's quite sad. They become injury prone, and then they end up not having a proper career that we like to see them have, right? Let me know your score predictions going into this game. How do you guys think the game is going to go? Are you guys confident? So far in the chat, I've not seen anyone say they're confident going into this game. I'm quite confident going into this game. Whether we keep a clean sheet or not is a bit concerning, but I am still going to stick with my heart, my prediction of Arsenal 3, Tottenham 0 at the Emirates. Hopefully no further casualties in terms of injuries for this Arsenal team, as the next game would be Bayern at home. That's going to be a real tough test with this Bayern team. But Arsenal's shown their class and prowess against Atletico Madrid, against Real Madrid, against PSG. Let's see what this Arsenal team can do against Bayern Munich. It is going to be an intense game. I hope to watch that game at the Arsenal pub here locally. I really wanted to go watch that game live, but it's such a shame I couldn't get tickets. I couldn't get 2 tickets to go to that game, and now it's way too late to arrange travel to go to that game, which sucks. The stupid red membership is absolute dross. It was nice when I was renting a season ticket, could go more often. Hi, Rosie. How are you doing? By the way, congratulations to Scotland, Ian and Rosie, my two favorite Scots, on making the World Cup after 28 years. And more importantly, Arsenal boy Kieran Tierney scoring the winner to take Scotland to the World Cup is amazing and poetic justice. So it was a great game, and I'm really happy for Rosie and Ian. Enjoy seeing Scotland in the World Cup. That's going to be awesome. Not long to go now till the new year, folks, and the World Cup hosted in Canada, Mexico, and the States. There are going to be playoff games decided tomorrow. Italy are in the playoffs. Jamaica's in the playoffs. I believe Sweden are in the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see who each country draws and what teams come out on top. Um, I think the playoff draw is going to be tomorrow. I might go live for it if I'm at home, but I think it's early morning, and apparently Jamaica could face New Caledonia or Bolivia in the interconference playoffs. Italy, it'll be interesting to see who Italy face. I mean, Gattuso doesn't know what he's doing with that Italian team and the squad that he's picked. I'd be surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if Italy don't make it to the World Cup again for 3 seasons in a row. Hi, Moss. He says, weird Scottish number 10 last scored on Arsenal today. And then Alicia Russo scored a brace for the Gunners today. It was a good game. Russo definitely changed the game around, but I don't know what's happened to the Arsenal women's team this season. With the injuries that we've had, it's not been quite good the way that we've been performing. Chelsea are above us, Man City, catching up, and Arsenal just not been playing well. I saw the North London derby on last weekend with the women's game. It wasn't a good game at all. It was a snooze fest. I hope you had a good trip in Atlanta, Jose. Everybody's wishing Rosie belated birthday wishes. It was her birthday the weekend that just passed. Hi, Answer. How are you doing? Bayern play Arsenal in the UCL. Yes, that's the next game in the Champions League for us at the Emirates. It's going to be a cracking game. I'm really looking forward to it. We'll be doing a watch along for the North London Derby this weekend. Most likely on my Sports World channel or multi-streamed if I can figure that out with this new StreamYard changes. StreamYard decided to change things up, and I've not yet figured that out, so I gotta take a look into that. But this weekend we'll be doing the game either on my channel or on Moss Sports World. I might join Moss if he's allowing guests. Then I might be on Moss Sports World for the North London Derby. That is the biggest game of the season. When I look at the Arsenal fixtures, that's the first game I'm looking for every season. I just want to get one over Tottenham, and this team I know can do it. I know losing Gabriel is a huge loss for this Arsenal team, but believe me, we have the squad and the mentality to get over the line. Tottenham are not all that. We should not be giving them so much credit. I know it is a North London derby, but still, this is Tottenham. You guys know Tottenham defensively are not the strongest. They have a lot of key players injured. We can take advantage of that. With that being said, guys, let me know your score predictions for the game. North London Derby this Sunday. Gonna be a good one. We'll be live for it. I'm still sticking with my guns. Ian said 1-0 Arsenal. Classic George Graham, 1-0 to the Arsenal. I am so 2 people have said, myself and Ian so far said Arsenal win. Nobody has yet to say Tottenham win. I know Rosie might say that for Bence, but realistically, Arsenal tend to beat Tottenham at the Emirates. And it's a different story at White Hart Lane, but this is at the Emirates. I'm quite confident. Ansar says, Gabrielle, it's a big miss for you guys. I was very afraid if we did go against with you with Gabrielle. Yeah, he won't be available for the Bayern game. Answer. And Bayern are really, really looking good. Anyone, even me at 51, can hit a long ball into the empty net, Rosie. Kieran Tierney and McTominay were the goals for me. Yeah, that Tierney goal was incredible. You having tea? Okay, have a good time in Atlanta, Jose. I thought you were back, but I haven't been keeping up with the chat. So big up everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This weekend, so we'll be doing the North London Derby watch along, and then a match reaction right after the game. Next week, I'll be doing a Bayern Munich preview. I'm not sure if I'll be doing a Bayern Munich watch along. If I am watching the game at home, then I'll do the watch along. If not, I'll do a match day vlog or reaction from the Arsenal pub midweek. That is an early game for us due to the time difference, but I'm quite looking forward to the game against Bayern Munich. That Bayern Munich team is stacked, and I know this Arsenal team has what it takes to go toe to toe with them. Fingers crossed, by God's grace, we have Gyökeres back for that Bayern game. That would be awesome. I'm not as confident with Marino up front for that game. Answer is going 2-1 Arsenal win versus Tottenham. Good score. Jordan is also going 3-0 Arsenal. I like the confidence, Jordan, from a rival. Thanks to everyone who's wished Rosie a happy belated birthday. I hope she had a wonderful time. I did share my thoughts on Liam and Jonesy's show, the Cannon and Jonesy podcast on YouTube. One of the best and most genuine Arsenal fans on YouTube. I quite like to participate and tune in the chat whenever they're live, twice a week. They did a beautiful segment for Rosie ahead of her birthday, which was last weekend. Rosie's one of my moderators and such a genuine person on YouTube in the community, always encouraging others and puts others ahead of herself. So I really hope she had a wonderful day. And we just did a small segment to make Rosie's day as bright as she is. Liverpool are playing PSV. Yep, that's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be as difficult for Liverpool, but then again, the games that you expect Liverpool to win, you don't. They're like the slot machine's broken, and I like to see that. Isaac not been clicking. Florian Wirtz, don't know what world that guy's in. Spurs 7-2, 2 Spurs own goals. Raptors at Philly. Yeah, I got it on in the background. Nobody's talking about my boy Brandon Ingram now. All the haters disappeared when the Raptors are 9-5. And Brandon Ingram last 2 games back to back, monstrous performances for the Raptors, but nobody wants to give him credit. Jordan's a mod here and not me. Lol, Raps up by 2. I can fix that. I can add you as a moderator once I'm done this stream, Moss. Big up, Nippin. How are you doing? How was your trip to India? We definitely need to catch up. Are you still doing YouTube? I haven't spoke to you in a while. I wish you for your birthday, but I haven't heard back from you. I haven't heard from you since your birthday, which was back in October. So it's been a little bit. I hope you're well, Nippin. It's good to hear from you. IQ, Scotty Barnes, and Notorious BI. Yeah, it was nice to go to a game last month to watch Giannis live. I'm going to fix the moderators. I was trying to change things around on my StreamYard and on my YouTube studio. So please bear with me, folks. I will fix that. Because my channel is not as large, I don't want to have so many moderators. I do think it's good to just keep only a few for my channel for the time being, just because it's easier to manage and not have so many, not have so much going on. Just be a bit more organized and working on content for the next week. Bargav, I believe, will be January. Bargav, I believe, will be joining me for the watch along. I did suggest to him, if Moss is doing the watch along, which I think he is, we might as well go on Moss's channel instead. So I think that's going to be discussed off air. So for either of you looking for a watch along, either myself or Moss Sports World, or you might see me on Moss Sports World on Sunday. If not after Sunday, the Gooner channel, he usually does a match review of the Arsenal game in a much more chilled approach. Nippon says, I'm getting married in February. You're more than welcome to come to my wedding or March. Nippon, congratulations to you. That's awesome news. I haven't spoke to you or Matt in a long, long time. We definitely need to catch up. Congratulations, Nippon. I hope you have a wonderful married life. I haven't seen you on YouTube in a long time, Nippon. I don't know if I know you went to India. I hope you had a great time and a good trip. I'll message you soon, Nippon. Mr. Miami, shout out to you, my brother. He says, what's up, Sister Melina? How you doing today? Much love and respect. 305, what's going on with your Montreal Canadiens? Back-to-back defeats for the Canadiens. And today you have Washington tonight. Lost to the Bruins, lost to the Jackets, got slapped by the Dallas Stars. It is not a good run for the Montreal Canadiens in hockey. 305, we were just finishing up talking about football or soccer, as we call it here in North America. Raptors are playing Philadelphia right now. It is a good game so far, but still early on in the game. Still will be putting for Jamaica and Suriname to get through playoffs and get to the World Cup. Tomorrow they'll be doing the draw for the playoff teams for the World Cup. So maybe I'll go live to talk about that. I think that'll be good. Answer. Sorry, answer. That's what they call it in North America. I didn't come up with it. But guys, I am going to wrap up the stream now. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in. If you guys don't already know, you're going to get to know that I go live without telling anyone. You either catch me live or you don't. Most of the time, you either catch me live or you don't, or you catch me on the replay. I don't know why. Like, I'm not really the type of person to beg people or spam people's chats with my link that I'm live. I just like to go live, and whoever wants to tune in, tunes in. I like things that way. So I've always been like that. I appreciate Rosie for always putting my link and other content creators' links in the chat. Thanks so much for that. Guys, right now, if you're looking for a basketball, hockey, all sports, another North American channel I highly recommend is the Mace Taggart Experience channel. It is a very chilled, laid-back approach to YouTube. Talks real facts and real sports. Very honest takes on sports. Nothing sugar-coated, just like myself, I would say. The Mace Taggart Experience, please show some love over there, even if you're not able to watch the video. If you can put a comment in the chat, just say Melina sent me, or even just like the video, it would be greatly appreciated. A really good friend of mine, like family. I'd really appreciate it. I'm not one to ask for favors, but that's a big channel that I want to show love and support to. And he's live right now, so if you do want to show some support, doesn't take much to just put a like or put a nice comment in there. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in. Thanks to Rosie and Ian. Scotland World Cup 2026. Enjoy it, folks. This weekend, folks, we'll be live for the North London Derby. So if you do want to watch the game with us, hopefully we'll all be in sync. Hi, Bargav. I'm just ending the stream now. I'm gonna go on Uncle Mace's show after this. So we'll be live this weekend for the Derby. If you guys want to watch it with us, you'll either find it live on my channel or on Moss Sports World. So you know where to find us. Have a good weekend, everyone. I think I'm gonna go live tomorrow to do a fantasy stream for the fantasy to share my fantasy team updates for this weekend. Give you guys some tips and advice for this game week. I'll probably do that in a separate segment tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, everyone. Thanks to Jordan. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in. Thanks to everyone who's retweeted on Twitter as well and shown your support over there. Patrick, Eddie, Dictator Z, William, Craig, and Ibuka. Thanks everyone who's been watching on Twitter. Really appreciate all of you. Sorry for no camera today. It's one of those late streams. But I'll see you all in the next one. Tomorrow, it's a showdown for Fantasy Premier League. And those of you that have yet to use your wild card chip, you should start considering to use it because you'll get a new one in the new year. And you can't carry this one forward. So if you don't use it by the end of the year, you'll lose it. Quite frankly. So anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks to all of you for your love and support. On the road to 12,000 subscribers. I believe we are at 11,916 now. So not long to go now. Just 84 more subscribers till 12,000. It's been 5 years, 5 wonderful years of this community and building this community with you guys, watching the Arsenal over the years, the good, the bad, the ugly, some tough defeats that we've all gone through together and watched together. But we'll see how this goes in the next year. Hopefully, my next milestone is 12K. Would be awesome to reach that. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in consistently and every time I'm live. All the regulars, appreciate you guys. Thanks to all my mods. Have a good night, everyone. Good to see you all. And thanks for all the love for Rosie's birthday earlier last week. Appreciate everyone who signed her birthday card as well. A lot of you guys are in the chat. And I hope she had a lovely day. Take care, everyone. I'm going to cue the outro now. Have a wonderful rest of your night or evening, wherever you are. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Bye for now.